Hi, everybody, and welcome to what would have been our first live stream, but instead I'm recording this. I have two classes, one that's wrapping up this week, and then next week we'll pick up with kind of a live stream format where we can interact a little bit more. But I did want to make a video just to kind of highlight a few things and make sure you're feeling clear about the class. I'll also give you an opportunity for an extra credit assignment, which again, normally will be something that I'll do live. But this is our Canvas page here. My name is Elisa Setmire, and I am the instructor for your class for our short 4-week class that started on Monday. 59071 is our section. So this is our Canvas homepage, and if you can make it here, then you're in really good shape because basically everything is linked from here. And so as long as you're here, you're in a good spot. So if you scroll down, you can see there's a bunch of different links here. There's a link to our main textbook, Psyched, on the ebook site. There's some different links like the mandatory orientation lecture, contact information, help and campus resources, course documents and videos, and then weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I have 5 cats. I don't know if you can hear one of them meowing in the background. Hold on one second. I'm going to see what's going on with this little cat, and then we will continue. I fixed the glue gun so we can wait until tomorrow to go to Michael's. Okay, serious emergency. Someone wanted some food. Anyway, if they come anywhere near me, I will grab them and we can go ahead and bring them in and you can see them. But as I was saying, here are all of our links on here. And normally what we'll do, as I said, is it's kind of like a Twitch live stream format, which will start next week. But if you click right where it says start here, that will take you to the syllabus. I'm going to click on modules just so that I can kind of go at it from a different side. But here's the syllabus for our class. There's a little welcome letter that I sent out, some textbook information, how to register and access your textbooks, and then just a bunch of resources, help and campus resources like some frequently asked questions. There's a student lounge if you would like to have discussions and interact with each other, some information how to find me on Twitch and YouTube, which are both really like commonly used platforms by me during our class. So not a bad idea to find me on Twitch and subscribe, find me on YouTube and subscribe. That way you get all of my videos and it's easy to find the live streams when they're happening, and a bunch of other benefits that I highlight in here as well. Help with technology, how to find your grades, some college services and psych major information. So stuff you should definitely kind of scroll through. The one thing I do want to spend a moment looking at together is the syllabus. So let's open that and take a quick look. You can see it has our course information, my information. You can call me Elisa, you can call me Professor Setmire. The best way to get a hold of me is always going to be email, right? I check my email constantly and I'm not in my office since it's summer. So if you email me, that will always be the best way to get a hold of me. And then we'll have some kind of live office hours on our live streams once we have them. But you can always email me and we could set up a meeting if you are needing a little bit of extra help. There's some information about administration and a course description and objectives and outcomes. Make sure you read through all of that, kind of what to expect, what we're going to cover in terms of topics. The big one that I want to talk about is the textbook, right? So you do need 2 books for this class. And I know that books are expensive. I know it might seem wild, but the average intro psych textbook is like $280 to $300. Ours is $110 for 2. That really is very reasonable, even if it seems super expensive, but you do need both of these books in order to pass the class. The Psyched book is our main textbook where all of the exams will be taken. You have your own unique copy of it, which allows it to be linked to your gradebook. And then the self-care book that I just wrote is something that you'll also be using for an assignment where you'll be doing some activities related to self-care. Now, the little bit tricky thing is they are on different platforms, and I wish they were on the same one, but they're not. One is the Psyched book on the ebook platform, which it looks like this, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. The self-care one, you can pick either Red Shelf or Vital Source. It doesn't matter. It's up to you, but they will be accessed during different websites. So make sure you save both emails with both access codes and information. You won't need the self-care one for a couple of weeks, but make sure you hold on to that email with how to access it. So if you click on this ebook bundle purchase link, it will take you to the website where you can can buy them. It's $110 for the two of them together. And again, you're getting that main book, which is Psyched, and then you can pick either platform for the self-care one. They're in essence the same. So they just wanted to give you choices, I believe. And you should get two separate emails, one from each book. So again, make sure that you access and register and do everything with each of them. Okay, so you will need to get those ASAP. The first assignment with the Psyched book is due by tonight, Wednesday night, the 25th at 11:59 p.m. That's that little mandatory orientation quiz to make sure that you're set and ready to go. This class moves really, really quickly, so it's really important that you get going right away, and I'm trying to encourage that with that short assignment. You'll also need Canvas and Twitch, and obviously something that will allow you to access the internet. That's kind of the main stuff that you need for the class. Some codes of conduct and policies. I really want this to be a very inclusive, safe class. We don't meet in person. I don't get to see you, but we do have discussions and interactions on Twitch. So let's always be really mindful and kind in those and respectful of each other's backgrounds. I'm really, really big on this next bullet. Right, late work and exam makeups. The way this class is set up is you have the entire span of a week. And obviously, we're taking vacations or maybe busy or working or things come up, but really, really important to plan ahead, right? So look at your schedule. You have the whole week to complete materials. Everything's due by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. If you have something come up, if you have an emergency, if something happens, you must reach out to me before the deadline in order for any kind of extension. If you reach out to me Monday morning at like 12:02 a.m., I'm going to tell you I'm sorry, I feel for you. But if you reach out to me anytime before the deadline, I am more than happy to work with you. Just please know that's something I really, really stick to and I'm really strict about. So please plan ahead and make sure if you have something come up, you reach out to me early. Please don't copy or cheat. There's some stuff here about Title IX and smoking and sexual misconduct you can look over. The way the class is set up is your grade is based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different assignments, right? So you have a little orientation quiz that's due by tonight at 11:59 p.m. and I'll show you that in a little bit. You will have 2 discussions each week. Those make up a big part of your grade. There's a couple of little self-assessments that you'll take, kind of reflecting on your progress throughout the class. There's a self-care and mindfulness assignment based on that self-care book, a closing assignment during the final week that we have, and then 4 exams that you'll take on the Psyched ebook site. All together, those things add up to this distribution, so you can kind of see what the different point values are for each letter grade. Everything's just based off of points. If you have a memo with access, make sure you get that to me as soon as possible so I can get you all set up for whatever accommodations you might need. You can have them email it to me, and that way I can get that taken care of for you. There's some information here about like student tech support and college information. And then below that, it's just a schedule of all of our assignments. So week number 1, which started on Monday, you can see all of the things that you need to read and complete. And I have that laid out for each week so you can kind of plan ahead and know what you need to do. You'll also see that when we look at the modules, it's the same situation. Everything under that week is what you are responsible for. So you can see our class officially ends on 7/18, which is a Friday. I wish I had any control over that because inevitably at least one person misses it. But just make a little note to yourself that our class does end on Friday the 18th. So that last week is a little bit shorter than normal. Okay, what will happen is every Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So like this Sunday night, for example, this week will close. And then typically Mondays, I will grade everything. That might change if something comes up, but typically I try to grade them on Monday. And please know that anything you do on that ebook site doesn't come over automatically, but I will bring those scores over as soon as the deadlines pass. So just be mindful of the Sunday night deadlines, except the last week, which ends on a Friday. Okay, so make sure you look over that a little bit more, but that is the syllabus. Then the textbook information, which we talked a little bit about, you can find it here or also on that other page that I showed you before. But here's the bundle purchase link and all that information for you. If you haven't already gotten the book, make sure you do that today, as again, that quiz is due by tonight. Once you've done all that, you might start the mandatory orientation lecture. So with this one, what you're looking at is kind of a little bit more information. I've given you some More of the information, some more videos, a little bit about me, a little bit more about the class, some overlap with the syllabus, but make sure you read through this. You can see that there are 5 tabs, and on each tab there's an audio file. If you'd rather listen to me reading it to you, you can do that as well. But you're going to read through all of these things and the syllabus, complete the little quiz, which again, I'll show you in a moment. Find me and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. There's a lot of instructions for the Twitch one. It's a little more complicated, but I thought it would be kind of like a fun, more modern platform. But please don't pay for this. There's a lot of ways that you can get a free subscription for 30 days, and that will cover our class since it's only 4 weeks. On page 2, there's a little bit more about the way the course is organized, which we just talked about with the syllabus, but be sure to read through that. There's a little bit more on the 3rd page about me. If you wanted to know a little bit about myself, my cats, my interests, the shows that I like, and all that kind of stuff, it is here. There's a little bit about the internet, if you're struggling with some computer or internet settings. And the last page, probably really helpful for you, there's some help information. For example, if you're struggling with something with Canvas, there's a phone number you can reach out to. If you're struggling with your order of the textbook, there's an email and phone number. Once we have the book registered and you're struggling, there's that email for support for that as well. Of course, you can always email me if you're struggling with anything, but this is a great page of like help information if you need a little bit more support. So once you've read through the syllabus, you've read through the mandatory orientation lecture, you've purchased and accessed and registered your book, you can go take that mandatory orientation quiz. Now, these are your first points in the class, and it is due by tonight, Wednesday, the 25th at 11:59 p.m. I think I've said that like 6 times. I just want to make sure you don't miss it. But if you click on this link, it will tell you that it's on the ebook site. Okay, so if you forget and go here, it's okay. It will show you where to go. But I'm going to take you over to the ebook site and we can look at it for a minute and the quiz. So this is the Psyched book, and this is our main textbook. And you can see on the welcome page here, there's a little video if you want a little more in-depth overview. Up at the top, this is where you'll access the chapters that you'll be reading each week. You'll be reading 4 chapters each week, 2 discussions, and you can access those up here. If you click on it, there's a list that will pop up of all the chapters, and you'll be reading through those. There's some additional resources that you may or may not use. There's a couple of like test yourself or quiz yourself. There's some flashcards and PowerPoints. This is mostly if you were taking this with me in person, but it is something that is accessible if you would like. There are also all the exams on here, and this is probably the biggest thing other than the chapters that you'll be using. And when you click on the exam link, the first thing that comes up is that mandatory orientation quiz, right? And you can see again, it's due by tonight. And here are the instructions. So with all of the exams, you have some instructions, and then you can click begin your attempt when you're ready. And remember, with all of these on here, it will save your score here on this little temporary gradebook, but it doesn't come over to Canvas. So don't panic if you don't see it in Canvas right away, but you will see your score as soon as you're done. So with this one, for example, you have 15 minutes. You get 1 attempt. So as soon as you start it, you are in it. Make sure you're ready and organized before you begin. You can use your notes, you can use your book on all of the exams, but really important to be prepared. You will run out of time if you're trying to look up all the answers, especially when we talk about that first exam. Don't forget to save your answers and watch the clock and click finished when you're done, and it will give you an instant score. So when you're ready, you'll click begin your attempt right here, and it will bring up the actual quiz. Notice up here at the top, there's a little clock that will start counting down. Be mindful, it will stop you as soon as you run out of time. So just watch your clock. And you can see there are 10 questions, right? Question 1, there are 2 required ebooks, Psyched and Self-Care, right? And so you'll say true, save answer. Right? And notice how it turns it like an orange color. That means that one is done and saved. Let's say I don't know the answer to this one. I could skip it and then it turns like a gray color, right? So you can skip through them if you don't know the answer. That's a good strategy on the exam, for example, if you like need to come back to it, don't want to run out of time. So you can see there are 10 questions on here. Best way to contact your instructor is through email, right? True, save answer. And once you've gone through all 10 of them, you'll hit I am finished, submit for a grade. Just again, make sure they're all like that orange color, and then you'll hit submit, right? And I got a shameful 2 out of 10, but I only did 2 to be fair. And again, so you can see your score instantly. Just remember that it doesn't come back over to Canvas, not until I grade them all and bring them over manually. Okay, so that's the mandatory orientation quiz. Make sure you do that by tonight at 11:59 p.m. just to satisfy that requirement. Got to purchase and register the book first, so definitely get on that right away if you haven't already. Okay, so once you've done all of the mandatory orientation stuff, the little introductions discussion, then you can start week one. And week one opened on Monday, and it will close this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. And we generally follow a pretty similar format. You'll see you have 4 chapters, 2 discussions, and an exam. Okay, and then there's also a little extra credit opportunity, and those are the things that you'll see every single week. Okay, and some weeks you'll have something like a little self-assessment or like a closing assignment, and we'll talk about those when we get there. Normally, what I'll do on the live streams is I will kind of go over the requirements for the week, and then I'll give you an extra credit question, give you some chances to interact with me live if you have any questions or anything like that. But this week, again, I'm doing a recording just because I do have 2 classes tonight and I couldn't figure out a time to squeeze it in. But I didn't want to leave you hanging and not have you have a chance to know what we're doing. So for each week, you're going to read these 4 chapters. And with each chapter, you want to do 3 things. You want to read the chapter on the ebook page, right? And remember, those are on here when you click chapters. The second thing that you want to do is read through the lecture. The lectures are me like kind of giving you more information, and they follow that 5-tab format like the mandatory orientation one. There's audio at the top. Page 1 is always objectives and summary. Page 2 is beyond the book. If I give you videos, watch them. They're going to help you to understand the materials. If I give you links, click on them. The third page is in pop culture, some connections to things in popular culture for those topics. The 4th page, key terms in review, right? Things that you need to know for the exam. And then the last page will be application. Now that I've read through this, how can I apply it to my life in some way? And you'll see that same format with every single one of those lectures. The third thing that you'll want to do is watch the lecture video. And these are me lecturing to some PowerPoint slides, kind of like you would get with me if you took this in person. You might take notes, definitely pay attention, but those 3 things together, right? The chapter, the lecture, and the lecture video will really help you to understand the materials. So you'll do that for chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you have 2 discussions and an exam. With the discussions, they always follow the same format. Let's take a look at discussion number 1, just to make sure that you kind of know what to expect. You'll see that there are some instructions at the top, followed by a video, followed by the prompt. Okay, so with each one of these, they are worth 15 points, 13 for your responses to my questions, and then 2 for your responses to one classmate. You're going to want to be really detailed in your responses. Think about them like little mini papers or essays, if that helps. Don't forget to read through some of your classmates' responses and reply to one of them to get 2 points for doing that. And again, these videos are something that you're going to want to watch. Some of them are a little bit older, sorry about that, but definitely watch the videos as I go through the prompt in a little bit of detail. I give you some suggestions. So here's the prompt right here below. And then again, I go over it in the video. Okay, so when you're ready, you can hit reply, just like several of you have already done. And then don't forget to also reply to a classmate to get those 2 points. Same thing for discussion number 2, right? So for discussion 2, you'll click on it. You'll see the same format of at the top, you have my instructions, followed by my video, followed by the prompt. And with some of these, you might do like a little article that you read, or it's something related to the reading, or maybe it's a little activity. But with each one, they're kind of connecting to our class materials and giving you a chance to show that you understand, to comprehend, and can apply them. Oh, one last thing with the discussions, you'll notice up here at the top, there is a little rubric and sample right here if you'd like to see what I'm expecting, but I would lean toward thinking about them like a mini paper. Give me more rather than less. I will never take off for giving me too much, but if you don't give me enough detail, that's how you tend to lose points. So better to give me more than not enough. The other thing that you have due this week by Sunday night is you do have your exams. So every week we'll have a test. This class moves really, really quickly because it's only 4 weeks. So you'll have an exam every single week. So exam number 1, and the exams, remember, are on the ebook site. If you click on exams, It's going to be right here where you take it. Underneath that mandatory orientation quiz, if you scroll down, here are the instructions for the exams. So exams 1 through 4, very similar in the sense that you have a time limit, you need to save your answers, and you won't get a score in Canvas right away, but you will get a score as soon as you submit it. Now, if you're on Canvas, I have given you a study guide right underneath it. So right here, if you click on study guide number 1, what I've done is I've put together all of the terms you need to know for the test. And these are just that 4th page of the lecture where I told you key terms. But if it's on the study guide, it will be on the exam. If it's not on here, you don't need to worry about it. So this one's on chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there are 2 little diagrams that you're going to want to know that I included. So if it were me, and I've always been one of those like meticulous straight A students, I would probably go through and type or write out all of this information so I have it in front of me during the test. Because what you don't want to be doing is trying to find answers in the book or the lecture video even, and that's going to use up your valuable time. So I would really recommend that you study this like you would for an in-person test, and maybe have it even in front of you just so that you can set yourself up for success. A couple of other suggestions I would give you. You have 75 minutes to complete the exam and 1 attempt. So be ready and organized before you begin. Now, what I mean by that is a couple of things, right? Make sure that you have 75 minutes to take the test. Make sure you have a quiet place to take it, that you have a good internet connection as best as you can, right? As unpredictable as that can be. Make sure that you've studied, that you have everything ready and in front of you. Do everything to set yourself up for success. Give yourself the best chance of getting a good grade. Don't forget to also save all your answers. Watch the clock, skip it if you don't know the answer to it. You can always come back, but you have that 75 minutes, so you want to be really mindful of your timing. Okay, so the study guide is your friend here on Canvas. Use that as a great resource for you in order to help. And that will also be something that you'll get every exam, right? So every exam you'll have a study guide, so you always know exactly what to prepare. The exams are like roughly 70 to like 73 questions. You have about a minute or so per question, mainly multiple choice and true false, and sometimes a little bit of matching. So again, really important to be prepared. I would say the average amount of time people take is right around an hour. So most people have plenty of time, again, as long as you are ready and have prepared. What you'll also see is every week when we do that extra, the Twitch live stream, I will post the recording of that, which is where you found this, obviously. And then there will be an extra credit opportunity each week. This week, because we're not doing a live stream, I don't want to hold that against you. So I am going to give you an extra credit opportunity in just a moment. I'll show you how to answer that. Let me pause this so I can bring that up on the screen for you. And then I'll show you how to answer that real fast. Sorry, I am recording my class. Okay. Okay, so what I did is just typed it out really quickly. Sorry, I didn't want you to have to wait while I did that. I've learned that I'm not great at typing and talking at the same time. So your extra credit question for this week, and normally, again, I will give this to you in a Twitch live stream. We just had to do it a little differently this week. Sorry about that. Your question for this week is, what is meant by the phrase correlation does not equal causation? Explain and give an example. What is meant by the phrase correlation does not equal causation? Explain and give an example. So when you want to answer that to get those extra credit points, normally you have to join me live on Twitch or be subscribed and watch it later as a recording. But this week, I just wanted to give you all the chance to do that, even though we're not having a live stream. What you'll do then is you'll click on the extra credit opportunity for that week, which is number 1, since we're in week 1 right here. And it will bring up this page where it'll remind you can earn these points by being live in the live stream with me or being subscribed and watching it as a recording. Again, one of the benefits of finding me and subscribing on Twitch. And again, that's free to do. So please try and figure that out. And I have the instructions for that here on this page. But you'll click on Start Assignment, and it brings up a box where you can type your response. And then once you feel good about it and you're done, you'll hit Submit. You get a little confetti burst, and ooh, pizza. Never hurts to have some pizza. So pizza and confetti. And I will be grading these throughout the week, but this is due by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. like everything else from week number 1. And again, normally I'll give you that question during the live stream and I'll remind you and show you how to answer it. A little different this week, so sorry to start off on a slightly different note, but we did have a nice kind of long explanation here of everything. I hope that you're feeling good about the class and everything that's due for this week. So remember, for this week, priority 1, get your textbook purchased and registered immediately if you haven't done it already. If you're not going to make the deadline but really want to stay in the class, make sure you reach out to me by email so that I don't end up dropping you. Once you have your book purchased and registered, do the mandatory orientation quiz and lecture, and then get going on week 1, where you read those 4 chapters, 2 discussions, exam, and then if you want the extra credit. And I would definitely recommend doing those extra credit opportunities. Those points just get added to your overall grade and will be very helpful overall. If you want to make sure that you have everything done, there is always going to be a little checklist that you can click on, just kind of reminding you of everything that needs to be done before the end of the week. Or you can check the syllabus as well, which highlighted everything that you needed to do. I think that is everything for now that I wanted to go over with you. Next week, when we meet on Wednesday, I will make sure to leave plenty of time for questions. We'll be meeting on Wednesday the 2nd, so Wednesday, July 2nd at 8 o'clock p.m. And that will give me the opportunity to go through all of this with you live and field any questions you might have. So again, for now, get all of those things taken care of. Don't forget to buy both books. It comes as a package. Save both emails. I know they're on different platforms, which makes it a little tricky, but I have every faith that you can figure that out. You got this. And if you need help, you can always reach out to me, or of course, those help numbers that I showed you on that last page of that mandatory orientation quiz. So I look forward to interacting with you more next week. Good luck on week number 1. Get going on everything and feel free to reach out if you do have any questions. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next week on Wednesday for that first live stream.